more time with God. By His grace, we will be starting a discussion on managing your differences in relationship and marriage. Now, when you talk about differences in relationship and marriage, what comes to your mind immediately is the personalities of people that are involved in that agreement. So it is expected that two people from different backgrounds, different orientation, different upbringing, different culture, we exhibit a lot of differences. So when you talk about differences in relationship and marriage, we are not talking about a bad thing. We are not talking about a bad thing, because if we are not different from one another in this world will be a boring world for us to say. So rather than demonize differences, as many will want to do, we should see the positive side of differences, because our God is a God of variety. Variety, they say, is the spice of life. Everybody is not and cannot be the same. We must learn to work together with a positive attitude to effectively manage our differences with understanding. So when we talk about managing differences in relationship and marriage, we are talking about we positively responding to the difference in the other party. If I am involved in a marriage relationship with a woman, then I must condition my mind to responding positively to the differences that our nature will bring around me. So there are ingredients that can help us to effectively manage our differences in relationship and marriage. Today, we'll be restricting ourselves to only one of the ingredients, and that is discussing your feelings without disrespecting your partner. Discussing your feelings without disrespecting your partner. Every human being loves to be respected. Every human being loves to be honored. In fact, according to the scriptural provision, respect and honor is mutual. It should be mutual, especially in marriage. And we're going to be discussing that today. Discussing your feelings without disrespecting your spouse. How do you discuss your feelings without disrespecting your spouse? Colossians chapter 4 verse 6. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. Now, what we need to understand is this, that there are speeches that brings about grace. There are speeches that are seasoned with salt, with grace. There are speeches that are also violence inducing. The way and manner of presentation of such a speech is what makes the difference in those speeches. Dialoguing is one of the most efficient principles of agreement. In a marriage relationship, you must not take anything for granted. You must talk about everything, discuss about everything, iron out everything, agree on everything. When nations of the world go into war and they want to terminate it, they return to the round table. So it then means that dialoguing is an integral part of our lives as human beings. The people who are into serious battle today, nations rising against nations, those battles started with words. with discussions. The ones that are resolving it now, they are resolving it through dialogue. So even in a marriage relationship, the same principle applies. We must learn to make use of the provision of God rightly in order to enhance the beauty of our marriages. Talk together on all matters as couples, or all matters that run contrary to the agreement norms will help a lot to smoothen rough edges. When you talk about all matters that run contrary to agreement norms, it will help to smoothen all rough edges. Will it not be better if those nations have ironed out their differences before situations degenerate into war? And that is what is expected of married couples, to dialogue and resolve issues before it degenerates into a disagreement. That everybody will be saying, after all, they are Christian couples. After all, they are this, after all, they are that. And the people who ought not to even be interfering in their matters will be interfering. Engaged people ought to embrace the leverage discussing about everything present as to manage their differences. People who are involved in marriage ought to embrace dialoguing about everything, because it presents to them the most opportunity to manage their differences. The things we do as human beings most times are not as serious as our motives for doing them. When your motive is right in discussing a matter, the motive behind a matter, that particular matter, is to resolve it, is to bring about peace, then that motive will bring good result. How do we ascertain whether the motive is genuine or otherwise? If we don't open up a line of communication with our partner. Our partner may have done something unintentional. He or she may have done something absent-mindedly. But if we just look at that and draw our conclusion without sending him or her out to find out the motive or the reason for doing what he or she has done, and giving him or her an opportunity to explain why such decisions taken, then we will not be giving room for peace to reign in our marriages. So when it comes to effective management of our differences in relationship and marriage, we must give our partners the benefit of doubt. Until another episode, when I come your way with another ingredient in managing our differences in relationship and marriage, I remain just sincere. Stay